Now, we are here in the building, everyone. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Too Good For You podcast. A podcast that's too good, made just right for you out there in the world, living life. This is for you. And we have a guest this week again.
Surprise!
Sheesh. Everyone make some motherfucking noise for my boy, Fabian, the OC Natives.
That's right.
What's up, brother? How are you?
Thank you, guys. I'm good. Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too,
It's
man.
been like 3 to 4 years.
It's been a long time, yeah.
And, you know, it's crazy because, like, after college, I feel like I go MIA a lot. I isolate myself from people. That's kind of like my toxic trait. I isolate myself, but not because I don't like people. It's because I'm taking care of, like, personal things. Just, like, mental health things.
You're handling business. That's all it is.
But and it's like, it's kind of sad. It's like, damn, like, why don't I like seek friends versus like just being alone? But I really enjoy being alone. Like, I'm such like I'm a happy alone person.
I mean, that's good. I feel like a lot of people aren't happy when they're alone.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, you know? Some
It is,
people
yeah.
are like, damn, like, I could just be alone forever. But then you hear like, wow, you have no friends. It's like, no, I do. I just don't
I thought
hang
it
out
was
with them.
I thought it was like a bad thing to like just being alone and being happy being alone. And I spoke to a friend and he was like, no, you should be happy. There's people who are not alone. And so what they do is they find friends, even if they're toxic, and they'll continue being friends with them, but because they just can't be alone.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it put me into perspective, like, okay, like it makes sense. Like I love being alone versus like being friends with people who are not good for you.
Get you.
You know, and I don't know, it's like a learning experience, and it's awesome. I love being alone, but I also like being around people.
Yeah.
You're the like the middle of introvert and extrovert at the
Yeah.
same time.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a good
good
middle.
balance.
Yeah.
It's a good balance.
If I have a
there.
full day of being an extrovert, I need a whole day or week of just
To be
being an introvert.
introvert.
I need to recharge. If
That
I
makes
can't
sense.
recharge, I can't be an
like,
extrovert the
that's
next
a
weekend.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Do you know how much effort I had to put when I was in college to be an extrovert every single weekend?
Yeah.
It was hard.
Definitely.
It was fun. I grew up with no friends. I moved around a lot, so like,
Okay.
I've never had friends. So going into college, I went to OCC and then I went to Cal State Fullerton. And I went into Cal State Fullerton with the intention of like, I had no idea what a fraternity was. All I knew is that you have friends.
There it is.
And so I joined a fraternity, and I mean, from one semester to another, I had like 80 friends,
Yeah.
you know, plus the sorority girls.
Yep.
And it was cool because I've never experienced people like texting me or, you know, like having.
He's like, why is my phone blowing up in the middle of the night
like,
right now?
Why
Hold up
am
now.
I a
Like-
part of a group chat? Like, that's cool, you know? Like, while they're commenting on your picture, they love me. They just met me. You know, sorority girls, like, they love you for everything. Like, they just meet you. They're like, I
Anything you
love
do.
you, little bro. I'm like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
it's fun. It's a fun environment, but it was new to me. It was so
Yeah.
new. Like, I was like, what the hell? Like, this is cool. And it got overwhelming after because I dropped.
Oh, okay.
I dropped and just like went MIA for my last semester or year in college because it was just like, damn, like that's too many people, you know? Like I feel like I had to like meet a certain expectation. Like I had to be there every single weekend. When I commuted to school, I had to be there for everything, and it was always like an expectation to like meet new people. And it's like, damn, like I'm tired. Like I don't want to meet new people, you know?
Yeah.
When it was like
Me all the
rush
time,
week,
my
when
guy,
it
I
was
get it.
like events, it's like, oh, you have to go and meet people so they can come to our parties, you know?
Yep.
And that was fun, but after a while, like I just got super overwhelmed, and I kind of thought that was my college experience. It was super fun though. I
Yeah.
feel like I kind of went like overboard on the whole experience, but during the fraternity, it was really fun and met great people. And I feel like people come into your life in a very temporary. I mean, everyone's temporary in your life, and I feel like the people I met through that through those years, even if they were temporary, I needed them through that moment in my life. Because after college, after high school, you don't know, like, yeah, it's like I'm a first gen, you know, like I'm a
Shout out, bro.
Mexican, and
Shout out, man. Shout out
and
that,
so,
bro.
I don't know what to expect out there. So just being involved in this was such a great experience, and just the people I met through that time, I'm super grateful for because it distracted me from like other stresses in my life
Yeah.
that I had going on. First, you know, accepting the fact that I'm gonna be broke in college, but I'm also gonna have a good time.
That's what college is usually.
Accepting that you're broke during college is like something people can't accept, which is why people drop out of college because they want to look for a full-time job.
Yeah.
And so just accepting that and just kind of like just like riding the wave was like super fun.
Mm-hmm. I get that. Well, Tyson, you know Fabian. So Fabian already broke it down for you guys. You know where he's at. So he came here ready to go.
I came here to vent.
He was ready to go. But for those that don't know who Fabian is, Tyson, if you want to break down a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I guess I'll give my side of the story. Fabian's the boy, dude. Like we said, I met Fabian in college. He joined the fraternity that I was in. When did you rush? 2017? Okay.
16 or 17?
I think you were 16.
Probably 16.
Spring of 16.
Oh no, sooner. Sorry. I graduated in 2017.
Oh yeah.
2014. Yeah.
We forget about college. We forget about college, guys.
No. 13, 14.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Whatever. So I came into college in 2014. Rushed my fall semester, 2014. You probably came after me, I think.
Yeah, spring.
Yeah, you were spring 2014. Yeah. But yeah, so I joined my fraternity. Shout outs to the bros out there. But yeah, no, Fabian was a really dope dude in the fraternity, and we have plenty of story to tell about, just college in general. I mean, anyone who goes to college usually comes back with stories, but if you spend some time in a fraternity, you went to college, you have stories.
I don't have stories, though.
You have stories.
I wish.
I mean, you have stories.
Okay, I do, but it's not as exciting as what your stories may be.
Yeah, it's different. Coming out of a fraternity, there's definitely a lot of stories and just experiences that not a lot of people get, and it's hard. It's a hard thing, everyone's gonna watch this episode and be like, "Oh, what? Tyson's in a fraternity?" Or like, "Oh, what? Fabian's in a fraternity?" Like,
fun fact.
It's a crazy
fun
thing.
fact. I was in a fraternity.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing where people like once you say that, like, "Oh, I was in a fraternity," like automatically people are like, "Oh, like what the fuck?" Like, you guys are paying for your friends, yada, the same old crazy, stereotypical bullshit.
we did.
Of course,
it was an investment.
Yeah, an investment. But no, man. Yeah, it was a good time, and we had lots of fun together. We had plenty of good nights out doing whatever. But yeah, so college is how I met Fabian, and yeah, so we were boys back in the day doing the whole college thing together, and and then my man disappeared and came back a fucking star.
Yeah, for real, honestly, dude.
Disappeared in 2016. That's when I dropped, and it was just random because I just dropped. I just submitted my paperwork and I think I just told one. I think Eric Rodriguez. I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna drop," and then he dropped after, and I think 3 more people did.
Yeah.
But it was great because then I think you guys did very well. I think the year after, kind of to prove to us that they could be better without.
Oh, damn. Oh, shit.
That's how it
Never
felt.
like that.
What is it, Shade Show?
No, but I love to see it. I love to see it, though. It was awesome. And then I completely isolated myself to the point where I deleted my social media. I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't on Snapchat. I wasn't on anything because at that point I was like, I need to finish college, and just focus on what's important. I'm tired of partying. I'm tired of socializing with people that I probably wouldn't even talk to later on. I'm investing so much time on friendships when I need to invest in myself. So I isolated myself, deleted everything, and at this point I was like, I need to focus on my career, getting a job, and trying to get married. At this point, and that I feel like it's my culture in me, kind of speaking to me, you get married and have kids.
Bro, my mom keeps calling me out on that. I mean, I get that, dude. My mom's like, when are you going to give me a grandbaby? I'm like, you need to relax real quick. I need you to calm down, mother. Let me tell you something real quick.
Exactly. So there's that. And then I kind of just went MIA for 2 to 3 years. And then I made a TikTok.
And here we are.
Yeah. So I guess we can start getting into the nitty gritty. We'll do the interview part of this podcast now. So again, we'll do this again. So who doesn't know, Fabian also goes by the OC Natives.
That's right.
Is a TikToker, Instagrammer. What do you decide to call yourself? Or
content creator.
Content creator.
There it is.
Cool. There it is. Yeah. Content creator. I mean, we'll just say, dude, you're big in the Latino
You're out there,
community.
bro. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I wanted to kind of get into is like, I think that is a very strong niche and just group of community to have yourself in. So
a
like,
very hard community to be in. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does the community? Well, I would just say like your relatability for being obviously Hispanic and telling your stories would you say is what made it like click for you on like TikTok?
I think it was the pandemic. I had COVID. And I hated TikTok, actually. Mm-hmm. My siblings had it, and they were always on it. And I was like, you guys are wasting your time. Like, spend time with your family. Like, stop being a lowlife. Like, spend time with us.
Hear that, all TikTokers?
And so then I moved out, and then the pandemic hit. And I had COVID for a week, and I got COVID, and I was like, I have nothing else to do. Like, let me download TikTok. And so I did, and I started to feel very nostalgic. Just about very depressed, and I feel like people who had COVID like they can relate to feeling that post depression after COVID, and I went through that, and I really missed my childhood. Yeah, because I thought to myself like, we're never going to relive these moments, and my siblings will never experience what I grew up with and how I grew up with just certain things, and so I started posting relatable content about growing up Hispanic. That's right. And also, I think the first video that popped up that blew up was me working with a student. We were working from home. So it's kind of like it's all over the place. But I think what I really wrap my content around is millennials and Hispanic Mexican content. I would say Mexican because that's like what I am.
Same, all of us.
The Hispanic Latino community, they're very, I want to say they're very sensitive sometimes. And it makes it very uncomfortable to like say something when they're like, oh, we're not like that. Yeah. So now what I do, I break it down. I'm like, okay, Mexican. I'm Mexican. You can't argue with me because I experienced that. I'm Mexican. It's my experience.
That's true. No, and it's funny because like when I saw one of your TikToks, I was like, bro, this man had the same childhood as me. Hold on now. I'll make I think one of them that blew up and that is on your page is making sandwiches, watching PBS Kids.
Growing up.
It's like I didn't have cable when I was growing up. I was going through channel 2 through 11, and PBS Kids was my main go-to throughout the things. So like I completely understand where you're coming from. Like that's relatable content. Yeah. Because I grew up that way. So I could see why a lot of other people, because I know I have a lot of other Hispanic friends, Mexican friends specifically. Yeah. And they're like, yo, you were watching fucking...
Clifford, Arthur.
Yeah, exactly. You were watching that as a kid? I'm like, dog, I grew up on that. Let me tell you something real quick. Like, I didn't have all this fancy shit, like, at the time. Like, I'm like... So, I get that, dude. And, I respect the content because it's hard to make content that... For yourself, for one, and then for two, it's relatable enough to like reach out to all these.
And that's what makes it funny. Like I don't consider myself a comedian, like none of that. I think like what makes it funny is like it's relatable. Yeah. So you're laughing at the fact that like, oh, I'm not the only one that experienced that. Exactly. So that makes it funny, but it's like more relatable than me being a comedian. I cannot. Yeah,
I think. I mean, that's kind of what I started the podcast for, or what the podcast is essentially morphed into. Was a nostalgia, not really nostalgia, but just going back to just like let's just talk about just the shit that we used to just do.
And
like,
I noticed your guys' logo is like the Rugrats logo, right? Yeah. Like, dude, I grew up watching Rugrats.
So it's like things like
Hey Arnold and all that stuff. That's awesome. I mean, that's one thing that I noticed when I saw your guys' logo. And awesome. Man. That's awesome.
Shout out Tristan. But yeah, no. So it's it's definitely something where like. To be relatable, but give it like some sort of like emphasis to where like people are like, yes, like I know exactly what you're talking about, you know, because it's like a lot of people did grow up the same. You would think that no one is the same as you, but a lot of people grew up.
And you know what? I feel like acceptance comes with age because. Yeah. I wouldn't talk about this when I was in school, in high school or college. Like, you don't want to know that you were poor. You don't want to know.
Out. Yo, you feel like you're gonna get called out.
Yeah, you feel like you're gonna get judged. So I feel like it comes with age. So I was in this stage in my life when I had COVID, or during the process, I guess like I'm still going through like this nostalgia moment, but you kind of like embrace those moments now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I'm so proud that I grew up the way I did because I've learned so much and I value things differently. But that's kind of like where my whole content comes from, just being super nostalgic and I guess sad, but like good sad. Like I just miss those moments.
Yeah. You know why? It's because it shaped you into who you are today. That's right. What it is. So don't ever feel discouraged for where you came from.
Exactly. Right. No, it's crazy, and it makes me very emotional just to think about how I grew up and who I am right now. Mm-hmm. Because it's just insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. Yeah, growing up it's a trip. It's something crazy. So the OC natives is what you go by. Can we get some dissection of what that means? Where did it come from?
So I had TikTok when I had COVID. Mm-hmm. No, I had it prior to that. I started using it, making content when I had COVID because I was just like in my room. Mm-hmm. But my intention when I first downloaded it in April, I think, was I used to like hike a lot and do a lot of adventures out where I live. And I was like, oh, let me make an account where I can show people where to visit in Orange County. Mm-hmm. Like there's so much to do out here.
Yeah.
You're not right.
And I never had the opportunity to like go out and like film or had the concept idea of like how I was going to do this. So I just started using it for my own personal use. You know, like let's just see how it does. I had one video that went viral that I had to like delete because it was like very political, and it got like 4 million views, but it's still there. And I just didn't want that image. I was like, I want to keep it clean. Like at this point, like I was 25. I know what I'm doing on social media. Like whatever I put out there, it's gonna haunt me later on. So I want to keep it good.
He said, "Ain't no tweets coming back to me."
Yeah, I don't even have a Twitter.
Back to me, fuck that.
I don't even have a Twitter. I had one in college, deleted it, so no one can find me.
This man's ahead of the game.
I was ahead of the game.
I gotta do the same thing right now.
So yeah, that's where it came from. Like Orange County natives. I think I even went on Google and I was like, what are some synonyms to like you're from Orange County? And natives came up and I was like, okay, OC natives. People think I'm like Native American because like OC natives. Mm-hmm. Or they think my name is Octavio. OC.
Okay.
That's an interesting take. All right.
Or Theodore because the OC on Instagram. So they're both different handles.
Okay.
TikTok is OC and then Instagram is the OC. So Theo, But that was supposed to be my content, just like posting where to visit, where to eat,
more like a travel
where to like a travel vibe, and then I just posted about myself, and that's kind of how it stuck.
It's a relatable content, man. I'm telling you,
the first video that kind of like blew me up and my Instagram was like me working with one of my students, and we were working on blending words. I think we were reading a sentence, and there's this like joke around the Mexican community where like the chancla, right? Mm-hmm. We were reading the word, we were reading the sentence, the cob is yellow, and he was being silly and he was like the chancla, the chancla, but we paused and they laughed, they giggled. So it was like a group of students, and it was my birthday, and I was filming I know it's weird, like why are you filming yourself? But I was filming myself because my mom wanted to see how I work with the kids. Mm-hmm. I wasn't living at home at the time. And so it was my birthday. I was like, okay, I'm going to see them later on. We're going to go to the lake and I'll show them when I'm there. So then I filmed myself and I was like showering. I was like, okay, I'm going to get ready to go because we're running late. And I sat in my bed. You know when you're like, what's that joke when you're like, you're late because you just sat in your bed for 30 minutes doing nothing?
That's me every morning.
So that's what I did. And that's what I did. And so I was sitting there and I was like looking at the video. I was like, wait, this is kind of funny. Let me post it on TikTok. And posted it, and it got 1 million views like that night. It was like a 4-hour drive.
How fast that spread? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour drive to the lake. And as we were driving, I was with my little sisters and my brother. They were like, dude, it just hit like 500,000 viees. I was like, what the hell? That's crazy.
God. He's just driving right now.
Yeah, I was like, driving. I was like, okay, give me the analytics. Like, how's it looking right now? And like, I'm reading the comments and they're so funny. Like, some of the comments are funnier than the actual TikTok. And we were just laughing at the comments. And so we get there. It's my birthday. I'm like, that's crazy. And then I had no Instagram at the time. Like, I had nothing, just TikTok. People were asking like, oh, what's your Instagram? What's your Venmo? Like, we want to send you money.
Hey, if you want to send us money, you can send us money too. I mean,
yeah.
Send the podcast.
Fund the podcast.
Yeah.
And then so I made an Instagram the day after, and then it started like just getting a lot of followers too, and people actually like me. You know, like that's crazy. No one knows me. Because none of my friends know about this. No one knows. No one knows about
like,
TikTok.
Who the fuck? Wait, I know that guy.
Well, you guys found me later on, I think, because like no one knew about it.
Yeah,
like not even my cousins. No one. It was just kind of like, I'm just like making content, just like for my own memories. Like no one literally knows that I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and I think people are still finding me. Like there's because it's not even my name. Like people are still like, oh, what is this, Fabian?
Yeah, I did not. I don't even remember. I think. Yeah, it's honestly how funny sometimes. Like I'll just be like going to like my Instagram stories, and then I'm like, I think that's where it was. I was like, what the fuck? That's Fabian. Why is Fabian on this person that I know? But I damn well sure know.
They don't know each other. Yeah.
Person. So I was like, what the fuck? So then I went and saw his Instagram, and I was like, what the fuck? This guy is like famous on here. And I was like, that's my boy Fabian. And I was like, damn, dude, I haven't seen him in a while. So then, it
was still growing at the time. I think when we followed each other on there, because you were one of the first ones that followed me. Because it was Adrian and Eric, and I think those were the only ones that knew about it. Because at the time we were like hanging out. Yeah. And then just like people started to like just come in and join the club.
It's honestly so funny, just like seeing you pop up on like my friends like store, like just reposting your shit. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. It's like I know this guy. And it's like on your side. It's cool. It's so crazy just to like see that because
it just happened. Like it's so crazy because I'm still like. I mean, I feel like I'm around it now. Like people around me are TikTokers and they're way bigger. Yeah. And I hate comparing myself, but it's like this is like me. You know, it's like like just seeing the growth and like how much I'm getting out of it is like kind of crazy. Yeah. You know, like it's crazy. I don't know. It's like it's still mind blowing.
No, I get you.
And it's so organically. Like it's like it wasn't my intention at the time. I was like, oh, no more social media. Like I'm gonna focus on my life. And then it just happened.
This is my life. Let me tell you something. This is my life.
It was crazy.
Yeah. How has the TikTok community, like, obviously we're not famous yet, right? we're a very small podcast. We're a very small podcast trying to come up, right? And at the point, there's going to be times where it's, people are going to want to, like, talk to you, hang out, stuff like that. So for you... now being a TikTok celebrity, right? We'll say that. Like, you're up there with these people, especially, like we said, in the Latino community and stuff like that. So how has that, like, already established community, like, how are they in terms of, like, bringing, like, people in or just kind of, like...
TikTok as in
just like other creators who were already in there and they're like, oh, like here's a new creator who either like we like and we want to like like work with them because I know like you've done or like you've gone out to like events with like, TikTokers and stuff like that, so like your little like networkings and stuff like that.
Honestly, like I keep it very low key. I am not too much of an extrovert even in like this industry. I get invited and I just like I go. I went to an event last weekend by myself. It was for Shein, and I went
this podcast too. If you want,
So I went, and my intention was to go alone. Like I could have taken someone, but I didn't. I was like, I want to experience just going by myself. Like, let's meet people. Let's just talk to random people. I don't want to feel like I'm like following someone or someone's following me and I'm leading the way, and if they're not having a good time, like it's my fault. Like why did I like it was more like challenging myself because I'm also an introvert, challenging myself in a different setting. So I went to a Shein event last weekend, and it was like, it was cool. I was just talking to like random people. I knew people there, but I just chose to be alone. And it reminded me that people cannot go to events by themselves. Yeah. Like they need to go with a group of people.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of like not having anyone to talk to. So then it makes someone like myself afraid to talk to someone, because like if I'm going to talk to someone, like I need to talk to a group of people.
Yeah, it's already clicked.
There's a lot of cliques going on, and I don't want to be a part of any cliques. Like I'm like a grown man. Like I want to just, you know, like what am I going to do with a clique? Like follow someone and just like, you know, like a little chick, like a little chick following the chicken. Like no,
you're not going to be in the hype house.
I you see, I can't. I'm just me by myself, and I get invited to events, and the Hispanic community, like it, you know, people. So TikTok has this like Hispanic community on TikTok, and the first time I was a part of it, that's because I interviewed a famous actress. That's a Mexican actress. Her name's Thalia. And we had this like live interview on TikTok. Oh, wow. Dude, at this point I was like so confident. Like I was like, no one knows me on here. I can do whatever I want. Like no one literally knows me here. Dude, I like killed it. Like I was so good at it. And I feel like the more you know people in the industry, the more insecure you get.
That's crazy. That's
because you're like comparing yourself unintentionally to other people who are also doing what you're doing, but they're doing it better.
Yeah.
So prior to me meeting the group of people, they're awesome. They're very talented. But I was so confident. Like I went into this interview not questioning my ability, my talent. I don't have a talent, but it was just fun. Like I had a conversation, and it was cool. And it was cool because like this actress, she's someone that a lot of women look up to. Okay. She's just like this Mexican actress who represents Mexicans, you know, like it's like I don't know, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to mention like an American actress, but it's like a very idolized woman who's also an artist. And so that was a huge deal. And then I get invited to like these events, and now you know people, and now you're kind of questioning who you are. You're questioning what you post. And then it builds up like an insecurity. Yeah. At one point. But if it really affects you, like you'll just hold on to that. So what I did, I removed myself from uncomfortable situations that I know are not helping me grow. So I'll just like keep it cordial, and just like, you know, like I'll be on the side, like we're friends, but I'm also not like hang out with you like every single weekend, you know? Yeah. And that's how I like to keep it, just for my own energy. Cause I'm very like hard on myself. Like I'm very like, oh, I need to be like that. When I know like it's not my time, nor do I have practice to be doing that yet. Yeah. You know?
Damn.
But the Hispanic community is very, and it's not talking smack, it's very tough. Because Hispanics, it's very, and I'm not sure, it might be other cultures too, but I feel like Hispanics sometimes don't support other Hispanics. Like there's like this saying with like with craps, like I guess you're all trying to reach to the top, and you're not helping each other up. You know, so there's always like, you're always kind of just like tackling each other down, and that's kind of how I feel sometimes. But the beauty of it is just that we're represented on there. Yeah. That we're definitely represented, and for sure. And some of us are doing, you know, great things and being great role models. Because in the end, it's like you have people who support you, you know, who are watching every move you make. And what you want to use that for is like to make a positive impact. Because literally whatever you put out there, like people will like start to have this idea of what they should be. Yeah. And so when people like go on their stories on Instagram, and I'm not against it, it's just not me, but that are just partying every weekend. I'm like, you're giving people the idea that being a part of this industry is just all about partying, you know? And to me, it's like, I keep that to myself. And if I'm going to party, like, I don't want to post about it, you know? Like
this is my life.
But it's because like, I want to like, I don't want to show that to the people who actually like me for who I am. Like, it's like, it's not life. It's not all just like partying. Yeah. And I don't think I use it for anything. Like I really don't use it for anything else. Like kind of just like to post stuff, but I try to keep it like family oriented. Like I'm with my family a lot.
Yes.
I like to be respectful. Like it's like to me when I first started doing social media, like I respected it. I was like, I don't know how far this is gonna go. I'm ready for it to just die out whenever because I have a career.
Exactly.
But what I do have in this moment right now, like I want to respect it because it is a business.
Yeah.
You know, it's my image, and I want to just be respectful, be kind.
That's a good way to put it.
Because if you're not kind with yourself on social media, it's like people are not gonna be kind to you.
Yeah.
You know, like if people are like, oh, like he's always partying, like let's bully him.
Exactly. People look into that shit.
Keep it real, guys. Fabian's saying keep it real. First off, from where you are, but
It's also a learning experience. Like I'm also like 28, and so I feel like I'm like traumatized. No, I'm kidding. I'm not traumatized. No, I'm also like just like I just know like what vibe I want back, so that's what I'm gonna give because that's what I want
dope.
back.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I know you were mentioning about your family, like they were kind of the ones who were starting it, like your siblings were the ones who were like starting TikToks before you, or at least just being on it, right? And you do a lot of work like with your siblings, or your family as a whole. How have they been in terms of like receiving like your fame, or just doing your work? Like,
I feel so bad because like sometimes like obviously like in my city like I feel like a lot of people know because my siblings, they're very extroverted, like they know a lot of people, and so they know me because of them, or sometimes because of the social media. I don't know what it is, but I'm very strict on them, on what they post, who they hang out with, and what they do, because it's like whatever they do, it's like it's gonna fall on me because it's like,
are you the oldest sibling?
I'm the sibling. Yeah, I'm the oldest one.
I get it now. I get it. All right.
So I'm always having this talk with them, and I know they know what they're doing, but sometimes just one bad move, and it's like, dude, like I don't want to receive DMs of people telling me that you're doing this, and so I'm on it, and I don't. I feel like I'm like traumatizing them, but I'm also just like. I'm just looking out for ourselves, you know, like
exactly.
And then we also moved to like a new house, and I know my brother, he's 21, he's 22, so obviously he wants to bring his friends over, and that's one thing that I'm like, I love that for you, but also like I don't really want people to know where I live, you know, like I kind of want to perceive like have that privacy, because it's important.
Yeah.
People are crazy out there.
Because their friends know you specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Or even if they're just like new friends, because you know sometimes people want to like be friends with certain people just to get to.
And then it's word of mouth, and then now all of a sudden people are at your fucking door, like doing shit.
Yeah, and it's mainly just for protection, because I mean, God forbid something bad happens, you know, to any one of my family members, and so it's been kind of, they're very supportive in what we do. They respect it. And when I talk to them, they're also, they don't go against me. They're like, oh, you're someone, like, no, they're super cool about it. They understand it. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, even just like, I feel like that's the thing too, for like, obviously, like, even like anything, podcasters, like actors and stuff like that, you know, if you're famous enough, people will find enough information about you.
To find you, yeah, they'll find you.
But when you're, you know, growing as up and coming artist, content creator, whatever, and you start gaining that following, it's scary, because obviously you're never gonna know everyone who follows you. You're never gonna know everyone who is gonna like reach out to you, and it's one of those things where it's like I get what you're saying. Like, you're protecting your family by like telling, you know, your siblings and everyone,
just
like,
behave
hey, like,
well.
like keep what we're doing, kind of like, if we're in the house doing what we're doing, like what we're here. Like, this is between us. When we're out, we can go out, hang out, and be cool, but like, we don't want to bring our work home because we don't know what that's bringing with us.
Exactly. And so, yeah, and it's like, my brother, he's very extroverted. He's a very outgoing person, and we'll like go out sometimes, like with all of our cousins, and he'll do something that just like makes me bad. So I'm like, dude, like, what if someone sees it and they're like, oh, like, they're being messy, like, in public, like, they're so rude.
Yeah.
He made like a farting noise once, like, super loud, when we were like leaving a CVS with my cousins, and I was like, dude, don't do that. Like, it's like, it just makes you look bad. Even though it's not a bad thing. Like, I know it's like very silly to like even like bring it to his attention, but it's like, just be respectful. Like, what if a woman, like an older lady, was walking by and like she thought you did it to her? You know, like those type of things. I feel like I overthink things.
One thing that I think about, because I mean, we're all older siblings. We're the oldest siblings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, I understand where that's coming from, because you're looking out for your siblings, especially younger ones, and then you have that experience, you have that knowledge, and you're like, don't do that. Like, like, why are you doing that? You may be like a little bit mature to like than them. So it's like, I completely get what you're coming from, but it's hard. It's hard.
It's
Low-key
hard,
being
yeah.
an older sibling, and especially like since you have that following, since you have all these people coming at you, it's like you even got to be more careful.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want to like make like, it's like, oh, like you're like, not a lot of people follow you, you know, but it's like even the few that do follow me, it's like I still want to be respectful.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like there are people that really, they want to see me, you know, do great things online, and I want to respect them following me. You know, it's just more of a respectful level. Like I value people that, because they're taking the time out of their lives to follow you and look at what you're doing.
Yeah. I feel like that's what a lot of like big content creators don't do nowadays. Like they do it for the clout first. Well, for clout, and then for two, it's like they're building their own thing, but it's more for like their gain. Like they don't have that understanding of, this is my audience. Like these are people actually following me, taking the time out of their day to actually look at my stuff.
It's real people.
It's real, it's like,
at some point, it's, you know, not saying all content creators do this, but at some point, it just more people just become numbers, not really people. So
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, if you're not respecting, it's hard. Obviously, once you start getting more followers, it's hard to respect every single person that's following you. But I get what you're saying. Like, your main thing is like you want to do your best to be that person for everyone.
To be a role model,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like and because like things can be given to you and like in a heartbeat can be taken away from you. Like
Exactly.
you know, like you can stop. Any day you can just stop, you know, getting, you know, like the views and people who actually relate to what you're posting. Like, are they liking what you're posting? And so, it's hard to keep up sometimes, you know, like, oh, like
that's social media, bro.
It's
You're
stress-
in one day, out the other. Like, that's a crazy part
and
about
that's how I like to think about it too, and which is why, like, I think it's great that I went to college and I have a career. So if anyone out there is contemplating a career and they just want to go like the influencer side,
Get a job.
I think someone that becomes an influencer obviously starts somewhere, and I think like an education should be first, because there's more than just like going to class. You're learning how to value things and how to be respectful to other people, and there's more. And it's like you learn how to be committed. You learn how to be dedicated to something, because you're dedicating your time to a class.
Yeah.
It says a lot about you, and you learn a lot about that stuff, and I feel like a lot of kids really just want to. You'll ask a kid nowadays and they want to be a YouTuber or they want to be a social media influencer. I don't like that word.
Yeah.
I don't like that influencer word, because I feel like it's not used properly. There's popular people, but there's also influencers who are influencing things.
Exactly. I mean, the way I think it is just because of like the numbers game. Like once you get a certain amount of eyes on you, you become a influencer, whether or not like you're trying to. It's just because like you have so many eyes on you. Whatever you say is going to reach. If say you have 10,000 followers, even if it reaches 5,000 of them, which is 50%, that's more than enough that a company or anyone would just need to influence a product, influence anything, you know. So it's and a lot of people I think kids also just think like, oh, it's easy. I don't have to do anything. I just get to fuck around.
I think that's what I'm talking about with the knowledge. Like the knowledge is the biggest thing. Like you can't be going into this thinking like I'm gonna get big. Like bro, like there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, it's so hard because like people who just want to get big on social media, to me it's like it's kind of silly. It's like, how are you gonna do that? Like to me it's like I mean, I even question like how I even like went on social media and just like, but it was because it's relatable content. Yeah, I guess I don't know, but it's like, how do people just wake up and they just want to be famous? Yeah, you know, like some of us are. I mean, I'm not talented with the voice to be an artist. I would want to. If there was like a little injection to inject the talent, I would choose to be an artist or a performer.
We can make it happen. We can make it happen. Don't worry, baby. We'll make it work. We'll play. We'll start doing. We'll just start doing lip syncs, and then they'll be like, no, this is him.
That's what TikTok is.
Yeah, that's true. You could be a good, that's your talent. You just be a good voice.
Fuck it, we'll do this karaoke session real live. If they're drunk enough, it doesn't matter. They'll think you're good. Like,
as long as it's not my voice, it's the voiceover.
Exactly.
But I think it's important for people to really choose a smart route, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It'll happen organically.
Exactly.
You know,
I think that's the thing too.
Like, just be you. Yeah. Literally, be authentic. Be you. Like, don't try to be someone who's not really you. Like, imagine like growing the way I did, and then flexing on social media that I'm like this rich person. Like, that's so hard to keep up with. Like, just flexing in front of an expensive car that I just saw in the parking lot. Just flexing that it's mine. It's like, that's so hard to.
He said he took a picture in front of a Lamborghini. Hey, the whip of the day. Like,
I mean, yeah. I think what you said it rings true to a lot of things. You know, becoming famous on social media just because like that's just something that we have to talk about now. Before it was just you have famous actors and you have famous singers and other like more, I don't know, like bigger content people, right?
Yeah.
But now with social media, people who are Twitter famous, all they do is just tweet. It's just make jokes.
I just found that out.
Yeah.
That there's people who are Twitter famous.
Literally,
a lot of things is recycled content.
A lot of it is recycled. But in terms of but you have Twitter people who just tweet and can get famous off of just saying things,
and they can live off of it too, right? Because they get brand deals.
Exactly. And you have your Instagram influencers who are either very beautiful women, very beautiful men, funny people like that and then you have TikTok too, which is the same thing. You have people who are either very talented at whatever they can do and they can make it big on there, but a lot of it too, like there's a lot of people who are talented and either one, it's a lot of it is also just luck too.
Yeah, no, it is.
And it's hard for people to really understand that. Like we're saying, going back to kids who are just like, oh, I want to be like a content creator or whatever, and they think that just because they can do like, oh, I can do whatever I can do this dance, right?
Yeah.
Because they see, I don't know, TikTokers. Give me a famous TikToker that dances.
Tony Lopez, right? The Lopez brothers.
Perfect, yeah. So a kid is like, oh, I could do this. And they think just because this person's famous and I do it, boom, it's going to give them like that. And then they do it and it doesn't work. And then they're like, it ruins them because
because
it defines them.
Such the way that social media stuff is now, it seems so very like close,
attainable.
right? You can almost touch every single person and like
he did it, I can do it too.
I can get as famous as this person doing what they're doing. One, like you said, it's not going to make you genuine as your own person if you're going to try to copy someone else's route to get famous. And if it doesn't work, like one, it's just because you're just not lucky, or it's not hitting right because
there's too many trending already things going on. Like everyone's posting the same thing. They have the same exact idea. Like it's hard to create original content.
It is.
Yeah, I mean the trick right now is, and this is what I've learned since I started creating content, is like you have to get people's attention within 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, dude.
Within the first 2 seconds, 3 seconds, like they'll keep watching it, And the TikTok works in a very weird way where like if you post a 7-second video, it's most likely to get a lot of views, so you will do so well on it. It's a matter of just kind of like figuring out the trick, the hack, the TikTok hack.
The algorithm right here, baby.
Yeah.
We got tricks and tips right here. Welcome to the podcast.
It's getting people's attention within 3 seconds. That's how it is. And it's crazy because like I'll watch one of my videos that has done very well, and I'm like, damn, like I feel like I catch like, okay, maybe it was this moment when it got their attention. They wanted to keep watching it.
Oh, that's a good mindset actually to think about that. I never thought about that. Because dude, I'd be on Instagram Reels, TikToks, and it'd be the same recycled content. Like it'd be like the same starter. Like it'll be like a guy making a beat, and then it goes into whatever content they're actually making.
Yeah.
But I'm on there and I'm still watching.
You're still watching it. It got your attention. And that's what counts.
Yeah.
It's like the time that you're watching it, that's what's giving that person the higher analytics, which is like throwing it out into the For You page or the Explore page on Instagram. You start learning these things as you start creating content. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
And
it's like creative best practices, right?
And this is also something that you just learned over time, right? Like you never had like a team or like.
I've also never been entitled to always get thousands of views. I've always knew that if I made a video and it didn't get that many views, the video sucked. You know, like I could have done better, or maybe no one relates to it. So you kind of just like dismiss it and you move on. What I do is I do private them, because then it affects your analytics and how much you can charge brands to work with you. Because then if they see videos that are super low, they'll question like, but you have a 4,000 viewed video, like
out of like,
you know.
All right, Tyson, we're archiving this. We're gonna archive this for later.
Yeah, we gotta just archive all my shit.
Archiving
Our
all
TikTok
this.
needs help.
Are you guys on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's clips from the show.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, there are clips on there that have gone viral
Yeah,
and
definitely.
from like other podcasts, and they do well.
But yeah.
You have to just get that piece of the conversation
I get it.
that gets
Exactly.
people.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. So back to kind of just the industry itself. Has the industry helped you? Like, I know you were saying that you were introverted, you took your time away from a lot of like people and stuff, but has being in this industry given you any like new friends now, or like anyone that you're kind of just like, oh, you know, like it was because of TikTok and all this stuff that like, you've met a lot of like cool people, or just people that you can call your friends now?
Yeah, man, I was gonna say something. I lose my train of thought like really fast sometimes.
Don't worry, that's this whole podcast.
What did you say before that when you first started asking this question?
Just like meeting people, and like you said you were being like an introvert.
You asked
and, like,
introvert. Okay,
taking
so when I not now, but it kind of comes in a wave. But people want to cast for a show, right? For like just any show, and I think on my bio on Instagram I put like I'm shy. That was like my bio, like I'm shy. Mm-hmm. It was kind of just like a silly like bio. Yeah. And one of a casting director was telling me, "Oh, you should take that off because it makes you look bad. Like then people are not going to want to cast you because you're shy." I'm like, "Well, that's who I am. Yeah. Like you're gonna see that person on camera, because I am an introvert, and I feel like I can also be an extrovert. Mm-hmm. The thing is, like, I can be an introvert, but if I'm in a position where I need to be an extrovert, where I need to be talking, where I need to be like acting or something, then I'll fill that position, you know? But if I have the opportunity to be an introvert, I'm going to be an introvert because I just like to be quiet. I'm a people watcher. I'm a listener, and I can just vibe, you know, but it's like half and half.
So going into that, so the external force, like you're growing, you're building, you're doing your own brand, like kind of thing. The external forces that come into it, like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, how do you react to that? Like, for someone that's, say, like, watching this and they're like, oh, like, how do I start building my TikTok? You know, like, I feel like they will start to get easily influenced if someone was like, oh, you should put something else in your bio first, you know? Like, how would you tell them to react to this kind of situation?
What do you mean?
So, like you said, like, I'm shy. That's who, like, you're this is who you are.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But, like, other people, if someone came up to them and they might have, like, a bigger following or whatever, they're like, you need to put a different bio.
Oh, dude, I hate when that happens because there's people who want to, like, tell me what to do. And I'm like, it's my account.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't tell me how to run my own account.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people who would tell me to do certain things. One, change my username. And then I surpass that person.
This is like people in the industry.
People that,
Okay.
And now, and it's like, I feel like what I'm doing is fine. I'm just going with the flow. I'm not really, there's no back intention with it. Like, I'm just really just posting what I do, how I lived, and how I'm living now. Mm-hmm. I'm not really, people have told me, like, to, like, change my username. Mm-hmm. And that it's going to help me grow faster or something, or to post, you know, thirst traps and stuff like that. And I'm like, I think people have, like, they're comfortable with posting with what they want to post. But when it comes to people telling other people what to do and what to post and what to put in their bio, I'm like, you should just focus on your content, you know, like, focus on your account. Don't, if it's working for that person, just let them be, you know, they'll figure it out themselves later on. There are TikTok managers who do help us, they guide us into, like, okay, if you put your bio a certain way, brands will want to work with you. because you have that and they're looking for that specific person. And one thing I've learned is like having in your bio that you're, for example, like for myself, like Mexican. There's brands that are looking for Mexican content creators for a certain market, right? So they'll type in the search bar like Mexican, so you'll be one of the first accounts that'll pop up. Mexican millennial. I hashtag Mexican hashtag millennial. So when they're searching it up, I can be one of the first one. Yeah. And
write that down, Tyson. Write that down.
It's important to hashtag. Yeah, no, it's important. It's important to hashtag because you're throwing that content into that
specific realm.
Yeah.
That room. Yeah. But I think you learned your own way, and I've never told anyone to do certain things. I think the only advice I've told people is like just keep it appropriate and keep it nice, because brands want to work with people who are unproblematic.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
People who are not going to be controversial, because on contracts, when you're signing contracts, it does say like make sure you're not doing anything that's gonna make us look bad. And I think that's one thing that really helps me. I already knew this even before I read on the contract, or before people told me. But I always knew, like, I feel like you want to work with someone that's going to make a good impression, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of how brands work, and that's kind of like what I've been doing. And it's been working for me.
Yeah, got it down.
I took off I'm shy just because my bio was getting too long. So I was like, I'm just going to take it off. But I feel like, I don't know. It's just like, it was just like a silly comment on there, like it's nothing. And plus I'm a shy person. There's people who don't believe me. And I mean, I am. I can be a shy person.
Yeah. It's if people look at from the outside and they just see the numbers, they're like, oh, you have like 100,000 followers. Yeah. What do you mean you're shy, bro? It's like, bro.
But that's one thing I want to learn though. I want to, and I feel like I want to start taking classes on public speaking and even like just like beginning acting, just to learn something new, like who knows what opportunity you might get out there, and just having those classes and those hidden talents under your belt can be beneficial later on. And that's one thing I want to start doing, just to like, it's self-investment.
Yeah.
You want to try improv? You want to try to do improv with me and Tyson?
Are you guys gonna do that?
I want to. Dude, clearly I can't act, but the thing is, like,
I want to drink before every class. I'm kidding.
You're just like, bro, I can't do this.
I can't do this sober.
Yeah. You want me to act? Okay, let me go to the parking lot.
Let me take a break.
Yeah. No, that's actually something I wanted.
But I have my friend Leo Gonzalez. He's a TikToker, dude. He's so good at what he does. He can go somewhere and just do something on the spot, and I'm like, how? Dude, you have a chance to get nervous? Like, why are you not shy?
Yeah.
Because I would get nervous. I don't really do collabs with other people. Like, I gotta just like, nothing like making content in like, in your room, like in the comfort of your own home. And that's kind of what I do, just like in my house, or if I'm like comfortable with friends, like I'll do some with friends. But it's hard for me to just do stuff in public. Like I just, do a trend dance in public. It's just like, no.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
How it's like
you ain't gonna be the person that's lifting up a bench right at the gym.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Dude, I can't even take a picture at the gym. Like I'll be so shy. Like my pictures look like this. Like
he's like he has to sneak his own picture.
Yeah. Or like a selfie like this, like just like my chin. No, dude, like I'm like I don't know how people do that. Good for them. Like there's this lady at the gym that I go to. Dude, she takes her whole setup. She took literally a whole setup. Wow. Her little microphone, a camera.
With a microphone? What?
Yeah.
What are you recording? The weight?
Like no, she's like on her bicycle. No, she's been lifting lately. And she's like, she has like a tripod, her phone. Then she has another phone where she's answering questions. I don't know what she's on. Wow. I don't know what app she's on.
Multi-phones for this.
For questions. Then she like takes like, and it's not talking crap. But it's like she'll take bunny ears, and she's interesting. Like I would want to know what app she's on. I'm like, she's never popped on my For You page. I've swiped when I'm right next to her.
Must be some other
something else.
Service.
Yeah.
Hello. Something else.
Yeah, it must be that.
But
I don't. It's so.
It's funny.
Good for her. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just could not even take a picture, bro, at the gym. Like.
I know.
We talked about this,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I could never just be doing random shit in public. It freaks me out.
And it's not even like you care about what people think, because everyone says like, oh, don't care, like who cares what people think, like just live your life. But it's like, it's not even that. It's like you're respecting the space, and if you're taking a picture, like what if they're in the background? You know,
like I don't want to be photographed.
Yeah, that's what we said last week. You know, we brought up like like TikTok dancers, right? And how a lot of the stuff is like just in public or whatever. And a lot of times they do it
because they love the attention, and they love the attention.
Right in the middle of like traffic and shit, and it's like, one, like I don't want to be a part of this, and I have things to do, and you doing this right in front of me. This isn't what I want to see. Like, I'm just trying to get to the fun.
I already told Ty, if it comes in front of me, I'm going to drop kick someone. I need to get in through here some way, somehow. It's going to be a drop kick. Like,
but it's crazy. No, there's people who really enjoy the attention, though. For me, not in public, like, not like that. But there's people who really, they'll meet you, like, if we go to an event, they'll introduce themselves and they'll be like, "Oh, you've seen me on your For You page." Like I go viral all the time.
Like I haven't.
I'm like, how is someone gonna introduce themselves like that?
Yeah,
like
that's a very.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm on For You page, so I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it a little famous.
Yeah.
You must know me.
I'm like, I don't need no introduction. Like your For You page.
Like, just be like, just tell me your name. Like, well, I didn't ask all that. Like,
that's crazy.
There's some people that I've met that are like that, and I'm just like,
that's interesting.
Wow, like, what's the thought process? Yeah. What's the thought process?
Yeah.
A part of me, like, I want to be that. There's like a difference between confidence and cockiness. It's like I want to be confident and
not
that
cocky.
but that's like cockiness. It's like,
oh, if you have to introduce yourself,
you must know me already. I'm on your For You page.
It's like, no, you're not. First off, my shit is dark humor. Like, you're not on.
I'm on Snap TikTok. You look very extroverted. But there's people like, I mean, you meet a lot of interesting people.
Oh, I bet. That's cool though. So yeah, I think you were starting to get into it. But like, have you thought about getting into like more like longer forms of like media? Like, have you, like you already said you want to take like acting classes, but like has acting ever like, do you want to like get into like TV?
I would like to learn. I'm not good at it. Mm-hmm. It's something I would like to learn, and I think it's a learning experience. It's a learning process to do any of that stuff. Yeah, I am not confident enough to be.
If I go on TV and they tell me like say one line, I'm gonna fuck it up.
I mess it up.
I'm gonna fuck it up. And
and these are lines that I've written myself for like an ad. I'm like, I can't memorize what I just wrote. Like, come on.
This product is fantastic. I do it again.
But sometimes there's like lines that I do need to memorize, and it takes me to just like memorize a paragraph. It can take me like up to 2 hours to make an ad where it requires me saying something, and it's awesome because then like at that point I'm so confident just like memorizing everything. I'm like on the screen just like saying the whole thing. Yeah. But to start it's like, damn, like I suck at this, like dang. But like after a while, like you'll start getting so good at it. But it is something I want to learn. It's something I want to take classes on. It's just a matter of like doing it.
Yeah. So with that, what other plans do you have for the future in terms of like with TikTok, Instagram, just your future in general? Is it something that you like continue to see yourself doing and like?
Yeah, I do. Hopefully, if people still like me. But I want to get more into like fashion on Instagram. Kind of like it doesn't require acting or anything, so I'm like, okay, I can do that,
Okay.
So I do want to like just like start posting more like just fashion stuff. Like I would like to go to like Fashion Week one day, like that'd be cool. That's something that's like interesting. Like the art is just like super interesting to me because there's things that you would wear just for a picture, but you wouldn't wear in public,
Definitely.
Red carpet shit.
Red
carpet shit.
Yeah.
It really gets my attention, but it's just a matter of confidence. That's one thing I need to work on is just confidence, because I'm not your most confident person.
Well, and you sound pretty confident, my guy. You're keeping it real. You're doing your shit. That's what it is.
And I think there's people who like always like they're like, oh, you're like, there's like this saying on TikTok or between like TikTokers, you're such a pick me. I'm like, you don't know how I feel. Yeah, like I am not. Because it's like I'm insecure. Like I've never been. You've only met this person. You don't know who I've been before. Like I've always been like a very insecure person because of the way I grew up. Like I moved around a lot when I was a kid, had no friends growing up. My only experience having friends, a group of friends, was when I was in the fraternity. Then I dropped, and then I had no friends because I was just like alone the whole time. So you start to build up like insecurity, and then you have like body dysmorphia because you go from like being chubby to then you're fit, but then you're like, what people see is not what you see. You know?
So going back to that, because I'm not in TikTok, like I didn't know that world. What is a pick me?
So when you put like something that you just get sympathy from.
Oh.
So you're like a pick me person. But then it's like people who are telling me that are people who are entitled. You know, it's like people who like, there's people who have mentioned like, oh, you're like such a pick me person. And I'm like, I think I'd rather be a pick me person than an entitled person. Like, I don't want to go to a club and feel entitled to go into a club because they should know me. You know, like I'd rather go to a club and be like, oh, like, can I go in? You know, like, please.
Like, I'm a person. Like, I'm a regular person,
exactly.
man.
Like, I think that's the.
But it goes around a lot. The whole like people, yeah. And I don't think I am. I know people do say that I am, but it's like you can't. I feel like a lot of the things that I do post is for people to relate that they're not the only ones. That there's people who are even on social media are also struggling or have struggled, you know? And I think it's important for people to like understand that they're not the only ones.
That makes sense, yeah. I get that.
I have one big question that I have to ask. So like I said, a lot of people that like I know like will, you know, post you and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, you have a lot of fans. A lot of girls. a lot of girls like a good Fabian post. So like, does that ever like cross like your shit, like where you get like DMs or like, comments or like, my God, like I fucking love you, like marry me, like all the like just like
this man said. Roll the eyes and everything.
What is it? What is it so actually like to be a sex icon? Dude?
Because like they're probably watching this, and I'm like, I'm gonna sound mean. I get emails, DMs every day, and I feel bad because I'm like, what did they stop DMing me after this?
Hey, comment if he hasn't responded.
He's not saying stop. He's not saying stop. I'm just asking him a question.
It's like, they're so sweet. But also, like, it's just, you know, it's like there's people who I've, like, it's just hard. It's hard because, like,
you stumped him, my guy. You stumped him.
What can I say, man? I got a good question.
I don't respond.
Yeah. Okay.
Mainly because of my career. You know, like I work in education and it's very, to me, like my career is very, it's important because it's my image. Yeah. So I don't ever reply, and I try to, if they're if they're like messages of like, oh, you encouraged me to continue doing this and that, or being a first gen. I know it's hard, and thank you for showing us that we're not the only ones.
It's a positivity reinforcement kind of thing.
Yeah, like they're great because I'm giving them like a motivation. I'm like, oh, like why me? Like there's other people. Like, but there are a lot of DMs and a lot of emails, and I feel bad. I feel bad because I feel like I don't respond, because then it makes me feel like I'm leading everyone on. And then it's, I don't know, it's hard. It's really hard to just keep up, and as much as I do want to reply and say, oh, thank you, it's just hard.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was like,
I mean, no, I get it. Like, because like once, like say a girl DMs him, right?
Yeah.
And if he's got to respond to just one screenshot, like, oh, he DM'd me back, and then everyone else will be like, what the, like, why didn't you DM me? Like, why didn't you do this? Like, I'm better than
and then all of a sudden,
and then people just fucking fight.
But that is true. That's crazy.
And for the longest time, I never opened my DMs, because like you have like your requested DMs, right?
Yes. Which is people that aren't, like, you don't follow. So it's just anyone who just messages you.
Yeah. And like, I don't open this. I'm like, I feel bad because like,
it's gonna say seen, and then they're gonna be like, wow.
And so what I do now, it's like comment whatever question you have or something, and I'll just comment back. That way, if other people have the same question, like
You see the response right there, yeah.
You know, but there's a ton, and
looking for husbands, and Fabian's number 1 on the list.
Don't put this on the podcast.
I'm sorry. Cut. I gotta end the episode.
No, but post this. No, everyone's they're super sweet. They're super nice.
That's good.
It's hard to. You just can't date anyone that DMs you. You know, like it just doesn't work that way. There's even people that I've known from a while ago that I'll hang out with, and all they talk about is like, oh, dude, you have a lot of followers. All my friends ask about you because we follow each other.
That's crazy.
And I'm like,
it's like, bro, I'm not here for that conversation.
I want to hang out with people like when you're like out to dinner, and I just don't want to hear about it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
of course.
I know to them it's like a compliment, but to me it's like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I get you.
Especially when you're like with more friends and they think you're bragging when I'm not really bragging. It's like. It's just like, I don't know. It's weird. It's different. It's so different.
I get you.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is, especially like I said, if you're just a normal person, and then all of a sudden it just happens. Like I think you're doing a good job of handling it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's a great idea.
2, there's also like, how are you supposed to react to that type of stuff? Because that's something that is foreign to you in general. So it's like getting a bunch of like, things to answer or just people saying stuff. It's like,
now I really
talk to everyone, or like, what do I say?
Yeah, no, and don't stop DMing. I'm kidding. No,
He's like,
for real, don't.
Maybe one of these days.
no, but it's I'll be at a store and people will see me and they'll DM me.
They were like, were you at Ralph's?
Yeah.
Really? Did that? Oh my god.
Target, at the gym. And they're like, I was just too shy to say hi. And I'm like, damn, I would be shy if you said hi in person too. You know? But they have, like, they've come up to me, they've taken pictures with me in public, and it's so nice. It's just so new to me that I just don't know how to react. You know, like I just don't know how to, like the times that it's happened, like I'm like, was I like. Did I make a good impression? Like, did I make him feel bad? Did I smile enough? Did I say thank you enough? Was I grateful enough?
That's thoughtful, man.
I mean,
I get it though. Yeah, that's crazy.
from being a normal person to essentially just thousands of people knowing you, it's hard to
especially like you're going there to Target to say you're there to freaking buy whatever you need to buy, and then all of a sudden someone's like, hey,
I know you.
Can I take a picture? It's like like what do you say, like? You know that, like,
I'm always like, oh, thank you. And they're like, dude, you're so funny. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just relatable. That makes it funny, right? And that's just the conversation. Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not funny. It's just relatable.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and then some have like come up to me with the phone. They're like, oh, my friend wants, like, she follows you and she loves you. Like, you say hi to her on FaceTime. And it's awesome. It's cool. It's just like I don't know what to say. Like I just don't know how to react.
But it's like a double thing. It's like, oh shit, like I don't want to be that kind of guy. But at the same time, it's like I'm glad I could make that impact on your life.
Yeah,
that could make someone's day.
Exactly.
Like, bro,
yeah, it's like
anyone. Like
that's crazy.
Anyone who you watch, like a YouTuber or anyone like that. As long as like just an acknowledgement from someone that you look up to means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, I know, and I try to make the best I can to just obviously have like a great reaction and just thank them and I don't know, dude. It's crazy. I really don't know.
Yeah,
it's like this is what fame is.
Like I'll have like my sisters tell me that what was it last time? I guess they saw my siblings at a store, and someone told me, oh, my friends saw your siblings and they were like fangirling over them because your sisters were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom was there, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Like, oh,
that is crazy. That is crazy.
It's awesome that like people like damn, like people actually like remember who I am even after watching a video, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome. I want to like learn how to react better and how to make a better impression in person and not feel, awkward or too stunned to speak.
Yeah.
But I see my friends, like they get people go to them all the time, and I see what they do. I'm like, okay, well, that's what we should do then. So yeah, it's cool. I like to see it like when I'm with my friends, but when it's me, I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
But yeah, to answer your question, I don't open DMs. I don't really open DMs. I try to just keep it very cordial and just like post and just like whoever my friends like DM me, I'll respond to the DMs with my friends, or I'll be engaging in the comments and just keep it like that.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
For sure. Yeah, I can imagine. But
let me show you something.
that's good. We're pretty good. Couple, few things before we can sign off here.
All right.
I know you recently just dropped some merch. Is that correct?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't, just for myself.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like very shy when it comes to selling things.
Okay.
So I'm like, why would people spend money on me? Like, no.
Dave is humble, man.
I made shirts just for myself and my family.
Okay.
For the memory of like, I'm like doing social media and so I tied the logos into the type of content that I make. And yeah, it was cool, and I think I did like a giveaway, and I sent like 2 out to 2
nice.
people,
Okay.
and I normally just do giveaways, like people who just comment. I'll choose someone from the comments. But I suck at business. I suck at business. I don't know if you saw them, but that's like all millennial stuff on there
Okay.
that we grew up with.
Oh, dude. Hell yeah.
And like the Game Boy, and it says like OC Natives Millennial Collection on there. So it's like it's cool stuff. I just get super shy selling things. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's, dude, I don't know.
Hey man,
It's all new to me. Like I really don't know.
I know, but people, like you said, you have a following. It's a good stuff. So like, I think you would be able to. Not saying like your goal is obviously to like make millions of dollars off of it, but like you know, it's one of those things. Like I said, like because you can't be like able to reach and like talk to every person, like someone owning something that like comes from you, like it's something similar to that, where it's like, yo, like this is one of my favorite creators, and like even though I've never met him or talked to him, but like this and that he has like produced, and like people, I feel would always enjoy something coming from a creator that they like.
Yeah, I think I'm just waiting for the right type of product to sell, and I'm kind of like working on a kid's book.
Okay.
That I feel like is more meaningful, because I feel like everyone kind of just like sells shirts and they do like a merch. It has to do with clothing. I want to make it more intentional and more like I want to really help.
And because it aligns with you too, like that's
exactly.
That's your life. That's what you're doing. You're like like you said, you're in the education.
Yeah.
So like doing something like that would have a lot more impact.
It's meaningful. Yeah.
A lot more impact.
So that's what I would. That if I'm gonna ever sell something, like that's what I want my first product to ever launch. Because it's just meaningful, and I think it's like super cool. Because I don't really see people doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Add me to the wait list. All right, dude. Fucking start building a collection.
I'm like looking forward to. I'm gonna start. I need to grind on things that I'm like. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I'm like super busy, but it's like, are you busy thinking about it or doing it? And I've always been so busy just thinking about things, and it's like occupying my head. But am I actually doing it?
That's how it always is, though.
Yeah,
that's how it always is.
And I
that
feel
first
like
step is the hardest.
and I feel like that's what I need to like start working on, just like doing it versus just like thinking about it, have all these ideas and never actually doing stuff. Obviously, I feel like the most important thing that really holds you back is money. Like obviously to do anything you need money and resources and tools, and I don't have any of that. So if I ever do anything, it's like I need to figure it out by myself.
All right, drop the Venmo. Venmo this guy. If you're a publisher, hey, come on.
So with anything, it's like resources, tools, and I mean, I feel like that's like the most beautiful part about launching something, that it came from like nothing to something.
Yeah.
Like I don't really ask people for help for anything. Like I'm very like, if I want something, like I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like shirts, like I paid for them. Like I never asked anyone to like, hey, like I'll give you a shout out if if you design this for me or if you like print this for me. Like, no, it's always been like, I'll pay for it, you know, like, because everyone's trying to make money.
You respect the time and the service.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing business transactions. We're not here to shout outs.
Yeah, we don't pay in clout. Or what is it? I forget the word. Anyway,
shout outs don't
pay
the bills.
There's something like photographers pay. Like I don't get paid in. I forget. I'll figure it out later. I'll put it on the fucking screen later.
Okay.
But,
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just can't think of the word.
Yeah. I mean that's pretty much. That's it for me. Ema, do you have any last minute things you want to?
No, I mean that's dope, bro. I mean, love the word. I love how humble you are. First off, that's awesome. Because like a lot of like people that get that big, like you said, like they start changing the way they act, the way that they talk. It's like more of a persona, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like things can be taken away from you.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, tomorrow I can just be like my social can be deleted and I'm irrelevant. You know, like.
So I love the humbleness of it all. Like that's dope. And thanks for coming on. First off.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me. It's awesome, and it's my first podcast.
Boom,
and it was awesome, and it was.
Hey, we're creating a documentary here. So like.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have a documentary of everyone that comes on this podcast.
Yeah,
they're gonna blow up. They're gonna blow up, and we know that. So we're gonna get them to them first.
So if I said something I wasn't supposed to, you guys would always. What's that word? Where you like give me money and I'll and I won't post this or something.
Is that
blackmail?
Yeah, blackmail or just like.
So blackmail would be later.
Yeah, like hush money. It's like, yo, don't put that out there. Hey, we're this. Here's $10,000.
No, it's awesome. It was nice to see you too, though. Like it's crazy. Like I haven't seen you in a few years, and obviously you knew like a different version of me because I feel like I completely changed, and every single year is like a different, like a better me. I feel, and I try to become better every single time. But you met me at like a very weird, like part of my life. Mm-hmm. And not that I'm like better now, but I'm more smart and I know how to like handle just different situations and who I am.
No,
you know,
and you've always been a good guy. You know, I've always loved you. You've always been a brother to me, man. You know, we went in together, and you know, no matter what, you're still gonna be a brother to me. So you know, it's good. You know, seeing. You know, anyone I bring on the podcast obviously comes from someone in my circle or someone in E-Man's circle, and you know, it's always good to see the growth and like what people that we know are doing because you know it's everyone, especially right now. Like, people are going through a lot or whatever, and to see all the people that we know handling their business and doing their thing.
As long as they're doing their thing and they're doing something for the better, and I think that's awesome too. I like to see people just grinding and working and just working in different areas. I'm like, dude, that's cool, That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, cool. I mean, you now have the floor. You're able to, plug anything, say what you got to say. This is time for you to just do what you got to do, baby.
Well, first of all, I'm no one. I am just an invite. I came here to just kind of like just share my experience. It's not to brag. I hate bragging or making myself feel like I'm like this person when I know I'm not. I think it's just like I just want people to like work hard and being authentic and representing who they're representing. And for me, it's like my culture, and I feel like it needs a lot of work, and I'm glad that people notice that. Even I mean, there's negativity thrown at me all the time, but I feel like you shouldn't pay attention to like one negative comment when you see 10 great comments. Like one bad comment shouldn't defeat the 10 great comments that you get, Yeah. And that's one thing I'm learning, because like sometimes I'll get in my head when I'm like reading something bad. I'm like, damn, like I don't want to post this anymore or do this anymore. But it's like, but 20 other people think otherwise, And that's with anything. It's like people who believe in you, people who don't. Like obviously, like there's 10 people who believe in you and one person that doesn't. Like, who are you gonna pay attention to? But no, life is great. Life is great, and it's a journey. I'm actually gonna be part of a career day at a middle school.
Awesome.
And I'm like super excited because I really want to talk to kids about parenting. Like why our parents parent the way they do.
Yo, that's That's a smart ass topic. First off,
for middle schoolers, I feel like it's great because like I know like I hated the way my parents parented, but I'm like now I get it.
Yeah,
like their parenting skills obviously came from ignorance, but also like it's also great. Like you grow out to be this person. So I'm super excited about that, and yeah, I'm thank you guys for having me over and letting me just vent.
Yeah, man, of course, dude.
I haven't spoken to anyone in a while, so this is like an event.
Well, you got us now, so whatever you want, man.
Yeah, man.
No, it was awesome.
Good, man. So yeah, I mean, I think we have enough stuff for a part 2 in the near future.
I think
dude.
we touched what we talked about and see, dude. Every single year is a new thing, and I'm super grateful for it.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. Fabian, thank you again for joining us. It's been a pleasure, man. Again, if you want to drop your plugs for your Instagram and TikTok and stuff.
My TikTok's OC Natives, and my Instagram is the OC Natives. My Snapchat's OC Natives. I never post on it, but it's still on there.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah.
You want me to put that on there?
My Snapchat?
Yeah.
I never use it, actually. I never use it, but it's I think I posted it once, and it has a few people on there.
All right.
It's
so
just,
if you want to attempt
Snapchat.
if you want to attempt to snap Fabian here, I guess we'll put it on
if you made it this far in the episode, you can have that. If not, you get everything else.
Yeah, it's very private, but it's still there. Cool, I'll post once in a while, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. And yeah, thanks again, brother. We appreciate you for coming on. And yeah, Eman, where can I find you?
Oh, shit. I was like, well, yes. You get me on Instagram at Tanap. You get me on Twitter at Tanap_. No. Fuck. I forgot if it's underscore not underscore. Anyways, Tanap that ass. DATASS. Figure out if it's underscore because I can't remember. Tyson, where can they find you?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, of course, you can always find the podcast everywhere at Too Good For You Pod. That's the number 2, good, the number 4, and the letter U pod. And that's on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube, of course. So, yeah, make sure you guys go follow all that stuff. And the Patreon, we do have a Patreon for the podcast. Right now, we're currently doing $5 a month for the Patreon, and that gives them early access to every week's episode. And, yeah, there'll definitely be more stuff in the future when me and Eman start grinding and hitting the books. But if you want to, support for $5 a month, that is an option for you guys. And, yeah, you can always find me on all my socials at DJXFaro. And I'll let you guys figure out how to spell that because we should all be adults here. But, yeah, and that's going to do it for this week's episode. So,
awesome.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace.